Hello everyone. In this video lecture, I am going to cover MCQs related to introduction of basic mechanical engineering. So we'll start with question number 1. Prime mover is a device which converts natural resources into dash energy. Prime mover is one kind of a device which uses the energy from the natural resources and convert it into mechanical energy. The examples of prime mover are solar power plant, windmills, hydraulic turbines, and so on. In case of solar power plant, solar energy is naturally available resources, so solar energy is converted into the mechanical energy. In case of wind turbine, wind energy is converted into the mechanical energy. In case of hydraulic turbine or in case of hydraulic power plant, the water energy is converted into the mechanical energy. So a prime mover is a device which converts energy from the natural source into mechanical energy. The answer for question number 1 is option B, mechanical energy. Next question. Which of the following is not a unit of distance? So there are 4 options over here. You need to identify which of them is not a unit of distance. Light year, Armstrong and mile, they are the unit of distance. And so the answer for question number 2 is D, carat. Question 3. The product of mass and acceleration due to gravity of body is called as. We know that product of mass and acceleration of the gravity can be written as g. So this is the formula for the weight of any body. So weight is equal to what? Mass into gravitational acceleration. So the answer for question number 3 is option C. Also you need to know what is the formula for pressure, force, weight. All the formulas should be known to you because a question can be asked from any one of them. So the formula for pressure is equal to what? Force per unit area. The formula for force is equal to mass into acceleration, and the formula for weight is equal to mass into gravitational acceleration. So you should remember the formula for all the basic terms in the introduction to basic mechanical engineering. Let's move to the next problem. What is the SI unit of force? This is very basic question. You should know the unit of all the basic quantities. So the unit for force is Newton. Next, question 5. Gauge pressure is measured with respect to what? So gauge pressure is a pressure which is measured above the atmospheric pressure. So in this case, the reference will be atmospheric pressure. Question 6. The unit of pressure in SI unit is. As I told you that you should remember SI unit of all the basic quantities. In this case, the SI unit of pressure is Pascal. Question 7. The unit of pressure is. Now pressure can be measured in different ways. We have not been asked the SI unit. Fine. So if SI unit is been asked, then the SI unit of pressure is Pascal. But there are other ways in which we can represent the unit of pressure. One is Pascal. Second is Newton per meter square. How Newton per meter square? Because P is equal to force per unit area. The unit for force is Newton and the area is meter square. So Newton per meter square is also the unit of pressure. It can also be measured in bars. So in all the 3 ways we can measure the pressure. So the answer for question number 7 is D, all of this. Next question. Which of the following option is correct? First option, absolute pressure is equal to gauge pressure plus atmospheric pressure. Second option, gauge pressure is equal to absolute pressure plus atmospheric pressure. So as I told you that the gauge pressure will measured above the atmospheric pressure. So this option can't be correct. Then atmospheric pressure is equal to absolute pressure plus gauge pressure. So this also it can't be correct. Absolute pressure is equal to gauge pressure minus atmospheric pressure. So this is also not correct. To understand this, let me tell you the way in which you can remember such kind of problems. Let's say that this is a reference. Let's draw one reference line. With respect to this reference line, the atmospheric pressure P atmosphere is equal to 1 bar. We know that the atmospheric pressure is equal to 1 bar. Fine. So let's say that the P atmospheric pressure is equal to 1 bar. Now if we measure the pressure above the atmospheric pressure, then the pressure which is measured above the atmospheric pressure will be equal to the gauge pressure Fine. So let's say that atmospheric pressure is present in any kind of equipment. So we neglect the atmospheric pressure, and the pressure which we measure is normally a gauge pressure. However, if we add the atmospheric pressure, P atmosphere, plus the gauge pressure, if I add these two quantities, I will get the absolute pressure. So absolute pressure is equal to the summation of atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. This is very important term to remember. So the answer for question number 8 is A. Absolute pressure is equal to gauge pressure plus atmospheric pressure. Next question. 1 bar in SI unit is equal to 1 bar in SI unit is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. So this is the direct conversion which you need to remember. 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Unit of work is, as I told you that the unit for all the basic quantities are very important. Now the unit of work is what? It is equal to all of this. Why all of this? Because work is equal to what? Force into displacement. So the unit of force is Newton and the unit of displacement is meter. So we can say that the unit of work is Newton meter. Newton meter is also called as joule. Fine. So Newton meter, 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton meter. So Newton meter can also be considered as a joule. Now how this third option is correct? Let's say that Newton can be written as what? Kg meter per second square. Newton can be written as kg meter per second square into meter. So the unit is Newton meter. So we can convert the Newton into kg meter per second square. So you will get kg meter square by second square. So in this case, all the three options are correct. So the answer for this will be all of this. Next question. The SI unit of Newton meter per second. As I told you that the Newton meter is what? Newton meter, unit of Newton meter is work. Fine. So we need to find out work per second. So work per second is nothing but the power, and the unit of power is watt. So this is nothing but it is the unit of power. So unit of power is watt or Newton meter per second, and the power can be defined as work per unit time. Unit of energy. Energy is defined as the ability of a body to do work. So in this case, ability of a body to do work means what? The unit of energy is what? The unit of energy is equal to the unit of work. Fine, because energy is the ability of a body to do work. Next question. Which of the following is a unit of power? Power is defined as the rate of doing work, that is work per unit time. So the unit of power will be equal to watt. And you also remember that watt is equal to what? Watt is equivalent to Newton meter per second. Newton meter per second. So remember this. If you have been asked the unit of power, then the unit of power is watt or Newton meter per second. Okay, both are the unit of power. Dash means rate of doing work. Fine, power means the rate of doing work. Rate of doing work means what? Power is equal to work per unit time. Unit of power is Newton meter per second or watt. Understood? Let's move to next problem. Question 15. Which of the following is the high grade energy? Out of this, work is the high grade energy. Now let us understand what is high grade and low grade energy. First of all, low grade energy is the energy in which is in the disordered form. Fine, as heat energy is in the disordered form of energy, because the molecules which absorbs the heat energy will move in a very random way. So disordered form of energy is considered as the low grade energy, and ordered form of energy is considered as the high grade energy. So in this case, heat and chemical energy, they are what? They are low grade energy. They are low grade energy. Fine. However, work is the high grade energy. Next question. In an isolated system, what transfer across the system boundaries? So you need to remember three types of a system. First is open system, in which mass and energy both can transfer. Mass can transfer, energy can transfer. Second is the closed system. In the closed system, only energy can transfer, mass can't transfer. So in this case, mass cannot transfer in the closed system. Whereas in case of the isolated system, energy can't transfer and mass can also it can also not transfer, right? So in this case, in the isolated system, no transfer of mass and energy takes place. Fine. So in this case, the answer for question number 16 is D. Neither mass nor energy transfer takes place across the system boundaries. Next question. Any change that system undergoes from one equilibrium state to another, it is called as process. So these are the definitions. You need to remember the definition of all the three options which is given over here. Any one of them could be asked. But in the given question, any change that system undergoes from one equilibrium state to another is called as process. For example, if I draw pressure versus volume diagram, then let's say that this is the state 1. State 1 represents the pressure P1 and volume V1. Now, if the system undergoes a process from state 1 to state 2, right, then the pressure and volume changes. Now, in this case, system undergoes a change from one equilibrium state to another. State 1 is one equilibrium state and state 2 is the other equilibrium state. Now, system undergoes a change from state 1 to state 2 via process. So the definition of process is what? It is the change that system undergoes from one equilibrium state to another. Now process will follow a certain path, right? So the direction in which the process proceeds is called as path. And what is cycle? A cycle is a combination of process in which initial and final states are same. For example, system undergoes a process from 1 to 2. System undergoes a process from 1 to 2. And if it undergoes a next process from 2 to 1 in such a way that it will come back to its original state 1, then these two processes will make one cycle. So a cycle is a group of processes in which the final state and the initial state is same. In this case, the initial state and final state is state 1. So this is called as a cycle. Fine. Let's move to the next problem. Question 18. A system in which there is no transfer of mass across the boundaries is called as. Now, you can say that you can see the option B over here, but option B is not correct. This is wrong. In this case, it has been asked that system in which there is no mass transfer takes place across the boundary. Fine. In an open system, both mass and heat transfer, mass and energy, both can transfer from the system and the surrounding. Fine. So option B can't be correct. In case of closed system, no mass transfer takes place and only energy transfer takes place. Fine. So if the question is to be framed in such a way that a system in which there is a transfer of mass across the boundary, then the answer for question number 18 will be B, that is open system. But in this case, it is been asked as a system in which there is no transfer of mass across the boundary. So once again I repeat, in the open system, mass transfer and energy transfer both takes place. In case of closed system, only energy transfer takes place, and in case of isolated system, no mass transfer, no energy transfer takes place. No mass transfer, no energy transfer takes place. No mass transfer takes place in case of closed system and isolated system. Okay, so if no mass transfer takes place has been asked, then the answer will be option A and option C. But if the question is been asked in such a way that there is transfer of mass across the boundary, okay, then in that case the answer will be option B, that is open system. Question 19. The mass or energy outside the system is known as. It is known as surrounding, right? The mass or region which is outside the system known as. So let us consider a system. This is a system. So whatever which is outside the system is called as what? It is called as surrounding. So the region which is outside the system is called as surrounding. Next question, question 20. Which of the following instrument is used to measure the temperature? It is very simple. Thermometer is used to measure the temperature. Question 21. The absolute zero temperature is called as. The absolute zero temperature is called as 0 Kelvin. Now 0 Kelvin can be written into degree as minus 273 degree. Next question. Energy transfer from one system to another takes place solely by the reason of temperature difference. Fine. So the energy transfer takes place because of temperature difference. Whenever there is a temperature difference, there is a transfer of heat from one body to another. Specific heat. It is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance through unit degree of temperature. So this is the direct definition of specific heat which you need to remember. Next question. The relationship between specific heat of gas at constant pressure and that of constant volume is given by. Now you need to remember that Cp is specific heat at constant volume and Cv is specific heat at constant Cp is specific heat at constant pressure and Cv is specific heat at constant volume, and Cp will always be greater than Cv. So this is the relation which you need to remember. Cp will always be greater as compared to that of Cv. Which of the following is a path function? Only two are path function, heat and work. Heat and work are the path functions, all the other are the point functions. So the answer for question number 25 is A. Remember, heat and work, they are the path functions and all the other properties are the point function. Heat energy. Heat energy is the energy in transit. You can't store the heat energy. Can you store the heat energy? No. So heat energy is considered as the energy in transit. Energy in transit means what? It is the energy which continuously transfer from system to the surrounding. So it is continuously getting transferred between system and the surrounding. Which property is called as intensive property? The property which is independent of the mass. Remember that I and represent independent of mass. So intensive property is the property which is independent of the mass. Which of them is the independent of the mass? So in this case, viscosity is the intensive property which is independent of the mass. Kinetic energy, the formula for kinetic energy is what? 1/2 mv square. So you can see the mass in kinetic energy. So it is not an intensive property, right? Intensive property is a property which is independent of the mass. Okay. So in this case, mass is coming. So this can't be an intensive property. This is an extensive property, right? So independent of mass is called as intensive property, and dependent on mass is called as extensive property. It is called as extensive property. Fine. So in this case, kinetic energy depends on mass. So that's why it is called as extensive property. Internal energy also depends upon the mass, which you need to remember. Fine. So viscosity is the property which is independent of the mass. Volume also depends upon the mass. Fine. So these three, B, C and D, they are what? They are extensive properties. Extensive properties. You need to remember this set of properties which are extensive and those which are intensive. Fine. So all the three are extensive and first is the intensive property. Work is considered as positive when? You need to remember the sign convention for heat and work. When heat is added to the system, it is considered as positive. When the heat is removed from the system, it is considered as negative. Fine. So when the heat is added to the system, it is considered as positive. When the heat is removed from the system, it is considered as negative. Moreover, if I consider a system in which work is done by the system on the surrounding, then it is considered as positive. And when the work is done on the system, right? In this case, work is done on the system. Fine. So in this case, it can be considered as what? It can be considered as negative. So work done by the system is considered as positive. Work done by the system is considered as positive. Work done on the system is considered as negative. So in this case, the answer for question number 28, work done is considered as positive when it is done by the system. Dash is not the type of mechanical energy. Potential energy and kinetic energy, they are the mechanical energy. Rest of them are not the mechanical energy. So in this case, which is not the mechanical energy, the answer for this is option B, that is heat energy. Sum of internal energy and product of pressure into volume is called as. This is the formula for enthalpy. H is equal to U plus PV, where U is the internal energy and PV is nothing but the product of pressure and volume. So the answer for this is option C, enthalpy. Question number 31. In a compressor, work done is 200 kilojoule and heat rejected to the surrounding is 50 kilojoule. The change in internal energy delta U is. Now the internal energy is been asked in terms of modulus. Mod of internal energy. It means what? If you get delta U as a negative value, if you are getting delta U as a negative value, then because of this modulus, it will get converted into the positive. Remember, if you are getting value of delta U as negative, then if I take these two vertical lines means what? We need to take the positive value if we are getting negative value. Fine. Now, let us apply the first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics says that Q is equal to delta U plus W. You need to remember this formula for solving such kind of problems. Work done by the system is 200 kilojoule. So work done by the system is considered as positive. So we will take W as 200 kilojoule as a positive value. Heat rejected to the surrounding. Rejected to the surrounding means what? Heat is rejected from the system to the surrounding. So when the heat is rejected from the system, it is considered as negative. So Q is considered as minus 50. Mind well, you need to remember the sign convention. If you follow the sign convention, then it will be better. Heat rejected by the system is negative. Fine. So in this case, minus 50 will be negative. So Q is equal to delta U plus W. So in this case, delta U will be equal to what? Delta U will be equal to minus 50 minus 200. So it will be, delta U will be what? Minus 250. Delta U is minus 250 kilojoule. But in this case, you have to take the positive value as I said earlier. So mod of delta U, it will be equal to 250. Okay. So in this case, if only delta U is asked, then answer will be minus 250. But if mod of delta U is asked, then the answer will be 250 kilojoule. Next, phase change from solid to vapor is called as sublimation. You need to remember, phase change from solid to liquid is called as melting. It is called as melting. Right. Phase change from solid to liquid is called as melting. Phase change from liquid to vapor. Phase change from liquid to vapor. It is called as vaporization. Vaporization. Right. So as you have seen that there is a solid phase, liquid phase and vapor phase. Fine. So from solid to liquid, it is called as what? It is called as melting. It is called as melting. From liquid to vapor, it is called as vaporization. It is called as vaporization. But if conversion from solid to vapor directly takes place, then it is called as sublimation. It is called as sublimation. Okay. So the answer for this is option A, sublimation. Question 33. The process of sublimation found in. Sublimation means what? Conversion of solid to vapor phase. So it takes place in solid carbon dioxide. Option B. Question 34. Critical point is a temperature above which only one phase is exist. Fine. So you need to remember this, that above the critical point only single phase exists. Question 35. Which one is correct? You need to identify which of these option is correct. The change of property depends upon the path followed. Change of property depends upon the path followed. No. Option A is not correct. Option B. The change of property is fixed by the end state and it is independent of the path followed. So this is correct. That is, change of property is fixed by the end state and it is independent of the path followed. Change of property means what? Any thermodynamic property is considered as point function. Remember this. Thermodynamic property is considered as what? It is considered as point function. As point function. Right. What I am going to teach you is very important, that any property is considered as the point function. It means what? Change in property is independent of the path. Point function is a function which is independent of the path followed. So in this case, change of property is what? It is independent of the path followed. Independent means it is not dependent on the path followed. For example, if we want to find out that there are two states, state 1 and state 2, right? So this is the process from state 1 to state 2. This is the period diagram. Then if I consider the path 1 to 2 as this path, if I consider this as a second path and this as the third path, so these are the different paths, first, second, third path. So in this case, change in pressure will be what? It will be P2 minus P1 in all the path. It is P2 minus P1 in all the paths. Whatever path which I follow, it is going to be same. So in this case, change in pressure will be P2 minus P1. Fine. In all the paths, it means what? The change in property is independent of the path, which is very important to remember. Fine. Which are the path function? Heat and work are the path function and all the others are the point function. Question 36. Zeroth law of thermodynamics forms the basis of measurement of temperature. Right. What is the zeroth law? Consider three bodies A, B and C. A, B and C. If A and B are in thermal equilibrium, A and C are in thermal equilibrium, then we can say that B and C are in thermal equilibrium with each other. Right. So if any two of them are in thermal equilibrium, then we can say that the third pair is also in thermal equilibrium with respect to each other. So this is the basis. This is the basis for the measurement of temperature. Right. The temperature is measured based on the principle of zeroth law of thermodynamics. The statement that when any two bodies are in thermal equilibrium with third, they are also in thermal equilibrium with each other. So this is what we have studied in zeroth law, which you need to remember. You should remember all the three laws of thermodynamics: zeroth, first, second law. Okay. The first law of thermodynamics is what? It is the law of conservation of energy, right? And you need to remember the mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics, that is Q is equal to delta U plus W, and it is based on law of conservation of energy. So with this, I end the MCQs of Introduction to Basic Mechanical Engineering. Thanks for watching. And if you have liked this video, then please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel.